the reality is only about 10% of CPAs, accountants, professionals in the country actually do proactive tax planning.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, why don't we walk through just a couple things that you've seen that CPAs normally do that some people think they're doing tax planning? So, like a common one is maybe expensing everything out. Kind of walk us through some of those common things that, again, CPAs might be doing that seem like tax planning, but they actually really aren't.
Yeah, I just had this conversation with someone here about a week or so ago, and they said, at the end of the year, my CPA normally calls me and says, "Hey, you got some money you need to spend." And so when I think about that, spending money just to create a deduction, unless you need it. Now, if
Mm.
you need it, it's a whole different conversation, but just to spend things to spend, that's not really good tax planning. Like going buying a vehicle. Hey, if you need a vehicle for your business, great. If you need a vehicle, throughout the year, terrific. But the reality is just to create an expense for an expense. Now, there are some things you can, beg your pardon, there are some things that, you need to keep in mind that prepaying some expenses. So,
Mm.
for example, you could prepay your rent for the next year. That would be something like, for example, you had a big windfall of money coming in. Certainly, that's some things, but I don't generally hear that from CPAs. Generally, it's here's what you owe, here's your next quarterly payment that's going to be due, and that's pretty much the tax planning.
Got you. So they're just kind of like, for the most part, they're kind of like history takers, just checking boxes, recording history as far as that goes. So that's not really tax planning. That's just kind of the surface level things that you can do. So what are some real tax planning things that you would implement in a tax plan that they may not do?
Sure. And just to come to defense of CPAs and accountants out there, extremely busy. Matter of fact, we get a lot of referrals from CPAs because they really don't have the time to spend digging deep into. There's 75,000 pages in the tax code. So that's a lot to get through, and it changes.